Testing 1 2 1 2 testing. I don't know if anyone could hear me out there, but I figured I try this live stream stuff out. As you can see right here, these are forecast dates I put out on my last video, I believe, or maybe 2 videos ago in regards to Bitcoin March forecast dates. And you can see with the asterisk there, I had a buy signal. This could have been a buy signal, but it looks like the knife panned out. And these are like swing pivots, possible highs, possible lows. It's all depending where Bitcoin direction is going. So if it's going down, and it's been selling for the last 3 consecutive days, and then there's a low, then there's the knife comes, then according to this forecast using different techniques, would have told you that there could be a possibility that the 9th or the 10th could be a swing low. And if it would have continued pushing lower, then it could have been, the 12th. But it's not all the days of the month. It's just certain days. So you got the 9th, 10th, 12th. And this is just using cycle forecast dates. So cycle forecast dates picked the 26th and the 29th. And then it was a 3-day window here of the 21st, and the 22nd. I decided that this was probably a good selling opportunity here, since we got a nice little pop. And I've been paper trading this Bitcoin just to see how I do just paper trading it, the instrument itself. My game plan is to actually buy some stocks related to blockchain. So that's why I'm not really interested in physically trading Bitcoin myself. But paper trading, I'm just trying to see how these forecast dates work, and, just placing trades and see how they pan out. So the 21st, we have a sell. If it was going to be the 20th or the 21st or the 22nd, that was the selling opportunity. And like I said, Bitcoin has been raising up, going higher, so this is why we had a sell. And then you're going to have to look at the 26th. Maybe that could be a possible swing low, or the 29th. Don't know. Or maybe it's a head fake and it goes higher. So, you just got to see. You also got the 19th and the 25th. These are geometry dates. So you got cycle dates, cycle forecast, and a geometry forecast. And this is for just this month. So let's see how we do. Let's look at the 9th. Let me see if I can get this chart up. So you can see this is the 9th. Let's blow this up a little more. The 9th was a buying opportunity, and then there was a swing high on the 12th. Do we have a 12th? Yep. So then this was a sell. So you got the 9th and 10th, and then you see price action going higher. Then looking at this, you could have been like, it could be a possibility that we could put a swing top on the 12th. So let's see where we at here. So the 12th made a swing top, and then it started pushing lower, pushing lower, pushing lower, pushing lower, and it made a swing low on the 18th. I don't have an 18th here, so that one, the cycle, and you got the 19th, but you were off by a day. So we put a swing low on the 18th, and we can see here, you probably could have been like, all right, that looks like a swing low. We've been consolidating, put a low, bought it on the 19th, rode it up for like 3 days, And then the 20th, you would have been like raising your stop. 21st, 22nd, and this is early. They could reverse on me and go higher, but as of right now, I believe that it should trend lower, and it should probably trend lower. And then the next day you will see is the 25th and the 26th. So the 25th, 26th. So that would be somewhere around right here, the 25th and the 26th. Or it could be inverted and go higher. Let's see. There's a few things I'm testing here. I sold one share at 9,008.5. Right here, I'm up $130. Paper trading. I'm also long URA. For those that watch my videos, I cover the uranium sector, and I believe that between yesterday and today, the uranium sector, in my opinion, will be putting, if my analysis is correct, just put a swing low and should trend higher. But we'll see. And I did some paper trade on this stock that relates to the uranium sector, which is UEC. So those are my paper trades there, and to see how the strategy and the forecast workouts. So we could close that there. So let's see. I got a sell signal here, and let's see if it pans out. It's early. Fed announcement just came out. The market's a little crazy and wild right now, so just wanted to do a couple of things. Test this this thing here, the streaming live. I've never done it. I normally post videos, but never done anything live. So I'm trying to test out this technology to see how it works out. I don't think I'm recording. I just believe I'm streaming live. And I don't even know where is the chat room here. So I figure if you subscribe to my channel and seen some of my posts and my videos in regards to the Gann analysis, and I'll be doing more machine learning stuff. I'm really getting into that industry, meshing both worlds, Gann theory and machine learning, and just testing things. It's always good to have a computer helping you with your analysis. Sometimes they see things that you don't see. And you know that Gann stuff is really, really esoteric and very complicated to understand by itself. So if you kind of put them together to work and see what outcomes you have, might be a good thing. Let's see. Yep. So that's it. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my cup of coffee. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Well, it looks like it works over here. Let's see. I need to fix this a little better. Cell. It's 24. Let's make this a little bigger. That way we go. I'll be consistent. That's a cell. Can you duplicate this? Let's see. Copy. So here you go. We got a cell here. We got, let's copy this here. Let's copy that. And we could paste that here. I know the Fed chairman should probably be talking now, so it should be interesting what he's going to say. I'm sure he's probably going to be asked questions about Bitcoin, and things are going to get really crazy. But set to sell. Same size, 24, 25. Let me save this. Make sure I don't lose this. And then this is a sell. And then, you know what? Somewhere... Oops, undo that. Either the 25th. Let's make a blue. Either the 25th. Oops. I don't know what I did. The 25th or the 26th. Or the 29th could be a swing low. So those are the dates. If my theory is correct and my forecast is on track, and if this is the selling point, then one of these days right here could be a swing low. 25th, 26th, or the 29th. So we shall see. We shall see. Fed chairman talking.
In the committee's view, further gradual increases in the federal funds rate will best promote these goals. By contrast, raising rates too slowly would raise the risk that monetary policy would need to tighten abruptly down the road, which could jeopardize economic expansion. At the same time, we want to avoid inflation running persistently below our objective, which could leave us with less scope to counter an economic downturn in the future. Participants' projections of the appropriate path for the federal funds rate reflect our gradual approach. The median projection for the federal funds rate is 2.1% at the end of this year, 2.9% at the end of 2019, and 3.4% at the end of 2020. By 2020, the median federal funds rate is modestly above its estimated longer-run trend. Most participants revised up their projections since December, although the median projection for this year did not change. The medians for 2019 and 2020 are somewhat higher than in December. Of course, we'll be watching how the economy evolves in the months and years ahead relative to our maximum employment and price stability objectives. If the outlook changes, we will adjust monetary policy appropriately. Finally, I'll note that our program for reducing our balance sheet, which began in October, is proceeding smoothly. Barring a very significant and unexpected weakening in the outlook, we do not intend to alter this program. As we've said, changing the target range for the federal funds rate is our primary means of adjusting the stance of monetary policy. As always, the committee would be prepared to use its full range of tools if future economic conditions were to warrant a more accommodative monetary policy than can be achieved solely by reducing the federal funds rate. Thank you, and I'll be happy to take your questions now.
Steve, please.
Mr. Chairman, right, the microphone. Mr. Chairman, interesting changes in the forecast. A higher growth forecast, a full
So here
point
comes the
above
questions.
long run.
Let's see how it goes.
Lower unemployment, 7/10 below the long run, and yet very little change in inflation. What does that say about what you and the committee believe about the inflation dynamic? And how is it that in that context, you justify 3 rate hikes this year and ostensibly 3 next year, and a full $600
got a
billion,
doji.
I guess, annual rate decline in the balance sheet?
Undecision.
Where's your biggest concern here? Is it in overkill when it comes to rates,
Undecided what
or
they're going to
underkill?
do. We
So
shall see.
you're right that the outlook did improve, as I mentioned, and as was in your question. The committee's estimates of growth went up, the committee's estimates of unemployment went down, and there was a very slight increase in inflation. And I think that reflects essentially, if you think back to the
All right.
era after the crisis,
Let's
unemployment
see.
was 10%, it's now 4.1%. You've only seen very gradual upward pressures on inflation and wages, despite that very large increase. And that suggests that the relationship between changes in slack and inflation is not so tight. But it has diminished, but it's still there. So I think when you see those small
Copy.
changes in unemployment, that simply reflects the flatness of the Phillips curve, if you will.
And you know this is going to get the question mark because we don't know. But
You know,
in
I-
forecasting,
we're trying to take the middle ground there. So
you got to take a leap of faith.
On the one hand, the risk would be that we
Oops.
wait too long and then we have to raise rates quickly, and that foreshortens
Am I
the
doing
expansion.
a question right here?
We don't want to do that. On the other side, if we raise rates too quickly, inflation then really doesn't get sustainably up to 2%, and that will hurt us going forward. We need that, and we need to make sure that inflation expectations are anchored at 2%. So we're trying to take that middle ground, and the committee continues to believe that the middle ground
Maybe I can do the
consists
question
of
mark
further
here.
gradual increases
There
in the
it
federal
is.
funds rate, as long as the economy is broadly on this path.
Thanks, Nick Tamaros.
So this is it. Buy with a
Chair
question
Powell, I
mark.
want to ask about the symmetric inflation target. What you outlined in your remarks is preventing persistent deviations. I want to understand what symmetry means in the context of inflation being allowed to run above the 2% target. Now
These are
that's
for all my
part of
Bitcoin
the
traders.
projection for, at least for core PCE next year. How do you define symmetric relative to the experience of the past 5 years? Would the Fed be
you
willing
guys could
to accept the
jog
type
these
of
dates
overshoot
down.
of its target as it has seen during the undershoot? And how
let's
high
put a
above
paste
2%
here.
is too high to maintain a target that is symmetric? Is it 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4? And also for how long?
As you noted, what we've said in the longer run statement of goals and monetary policy strategy is that we would be concerned with sustained or persistent deviations of inflation either above or
So
below.
that's it.
We've also
25th,
said in
26th, and
minutes and speeches
29th.
and things like that is a symmetric objective. So that's how we think.
That's
of it.
Monday,
And I think it's
Sunday,
I wouldn't characterize
Monday,
what we've done over the
and
last 5 years
Thursday.
as tolerating an undershoot of
Those are
inflation.
the
We were
dates you want to
always pushing
watch
toward 2%, and I
to
think
possibly
that is
buy
how
a
we look
swing
at it.
low.
I can't give you an exact number. It just
And what I would do
we haven't
is
agreed on
that I
It
would
just is
see
that
price
we're
action,
always going to be seeking 2%
like I'm
inflation.
looking at price action today.
And in doing that, we're going to be considering, by the way, the other side of the mandate.
Prices
We have
are
to
going
balance
up,
that against the
And this is
deviation
the
of
20th,
unemployment from
21st,
unemployment
and the
from its
22nd.
goal.
So,
And,
I could probably be
and
early,
also
and
just
maybe it's the
duration
22nd.
of it as well.
Maybe the Fed chairman says something that it's bullish for Bitcoin and blockchain, and it shoots up higher. Maybe puts a swing pivot high here, finds resistance on this swing pivot point
Drops back down to 2% by 2020.
on the 22nd, and then shoots down. I don't know. We'll see.
To 3% or higher on a sustained basis.
I figure I just take the middle date between these two dates. And also the 21st is the
Let me say
spring,
what that-
it's the
what that
equinox.
is. So
W.D. Gann
the
said to always
summary
look at
economic projections is really a compilation
those
of the
dates,
individual rate forecasts.
change of
The committee
seasons
made really one decision
for
at
maybe
this meeting,
change
that
of
was to
trend.
raise
In
the
this
federal
case, it's
funds
really
rate
not a
by
change of
25
trend
basis
because
points.
the
Summary
high
economic projections is individual forecasts
was made up
compiled
here
and
on the
broken down.
December
You've
17th
identified
of
the median as
2017. So
2.7%.
I remember when I first started
say
studying
that the
Gann,
central tendency is interesting, the full range is interesting. So
every
you
change
have
of
a range
season, I was looking to
of
short
views around the
something
table. One of the great benefits of our
because I
our
was
system
swearing
is
by
that we
what he
do
said
have,
that
reserve banks with
any
their
change
own
of season,
stats,
watch out.
others with different views, and so we discuss
Stock
these things.
market
So
might
the
sell
committee
off
doesn't
or
vote
whatever,
or agree
but
upon the medians. So you
after
may
a
have
couple of
range
years of
views.
studying his
That's the way
stuff,
I
you
like to
just
say
then
2.7
realize, you know what,
happens
the
to be
market
the
doesn't
median for
change
18,
every
but
March
doesn't
21st.
really say, what we think is possible.
I don't know, maybe you did in his time,
I would say it's hard to say, but it
but
would take.
or maybe that's just one of the
well
things he
above
just
of
had an
almost
alert
all
or watched.
estimates, current estimates of potential.
He figured
long-run
maybe
growth. It would
the
take,
seasons
significant
changed.
increases in
Maybe the
productivity
market would
and labor
change.
participation.
Sometimes it was kind of vague what he was saying, but you know, if you're Gannis, you'll have those dates in the back of your mind and just watch.
So obviously you guys reduced
Looking
the
at volume, it was pretty strong here.
but if you continue to see
You're
job
below the
gains
moving
around
averages. I got the
2,500,
25,
labor
the 50,
participation
and
rising slightly,
I believe that's the 50.
pretty
Yep. And this is the
sustainably,
100.
moderate wage
I use the
increases,
100
what
as
point are you guys
the
going to start to question whether you're
line in
actually
the sand.
overshooting employment? And if you start to
If
question
prices
that,
are
how does that
above the
relate to
100,
policy?
in my
So
in
I
my
guess I'd
mind,
start
it's
by saying that the
bullish and it's
natural rate of
trending.
unemployment is,
Once it cracks to
is not something
100,
that we can
then
observe
it's
directly. We look
bearish,
at a
using
wide
the
range of indicators
moving
on that,
averages.
15 or 20
And
of
then
them
you
at
have to
least.
also, use your
And also, I think
Gann
we all
grid and
understand
see where it
that
is
any
within
point estimate is surrounded by very wide
a section
uncertainty bands.
that you're
So
analyzing.
as the actual unemployment rate has
So
declined from 10%
let me
to
make sure I
4.1%,
save this document
the
here.
committee's median estimate of the natural rate of unemployment has also declined by a full percentage point. So the committee and I think people are
make sure I don't
generally
lose this
influenced by
here.
data as they see unemployment going lower. They're looking at a variety of aspects of the labor market, including wage inflation and price inflation.
So that's it.
So I don't
For
think
those that
we-
also follow me on my
we're
UEC
mindful
or
of the
uranium
uncertainty, and we'll
sector,
be looking at that. So if unemployment does continue to go down, we'll
looking at the
continue to do that.
futures,
As I mentioned earlier,
UX1,
there is there's no sense in the data. UX1,
UX1, you got to put the Renko because the Renko gives you. See, without the Renko, kind of hard to explain this on when you're doing a video, but on stream, I guess you can. Look at that. Those are daily,
sustained period, you would see an acceleration.
supposed to be candles, but you see how sporadic they are.
And we're very alert to it.
So the Renko
It's not something we observe at the present.
just shows you exactly what's going on. It cuts the noise and gives you like a visual basic, visual
You and other policymakers have talked about headwinds,
view.
tailwinds.
You get a
recently.
big picture. Got
Does
1,
that
2, 3, 4,
imply that you
5,
think
1,
now
2,
a higher
3.
neutral
And
rate
now this is kind of
interest
confusing,
operative
but this
in
is the
US
battle
economy, and
zone
how
right
do you
here.
assess the implications for monetary
From
policy?
January
Second
all the way
question, this is
to
obviously your first
March.
press conference,
We've
so
been
it's a
in
little
Chop
early to ask this
Fest.
question, but would you like to do
And
this more
something's
often?
going to happen.
Thanks.
You know what? I wonder if I could start recording
Longer-run
this.
values
Let's see
like
this.
the neutral rate of interest, the natural rate of unemployment,
Might as
the
well
growth rate of the economy are
make this
are
video.
pinned down by slow-moving forces.
And then just
over
see how it
time.
works
So
out.
They don't move around very much. So I wouldn't expect the committee's predictions or projections or estimates of those values to move quickly. They'll move slowly. So is it possible?
So I guess we're recording
the neutral
live
rate of
video.
interest would move up because of.
Let me see if I just
for
pause this
example,
guy in the
greater
background, the
fiscal
Fed
expansion.
chairman.
There's literature that says that.
Looking at the uranium sector, before I do that, since this is going to go live for all the Bitcoin heads out there, these are forecast dates, and I put this out a while ago. Not my last video. My last video was the uranium sector, and it was probably the one after that, before that, yeah. Can't remember the date I put it out, but you can look it up. And I was saying that these are the dates you need to watch. So the March 9th was a buy signal. The 12th, after looking at the chart, realized it was a sell signal. And these are question marks. And as of right now, we are in a sell signal between the 20th and the 22nd. I took a short paper trading it on the 21st to see how the strategy works out. And these are cycle forecast dates. And then down here, these are geometry forecast dates. So March the 19th and the 25th. So the Bitcoin made a low on the 18th. So you know what? I always give it a 3 day window. But if you want to be, anal about it, okay, it didn't pick the low. But the next day was a good opportunity, but I'm not going to put it as anything there. I'm just going to leave it at that. I like to use it when it's precise, even though when I'm trading, if I would have seen that the candle was with a lot of volume on the knife, I would have gone in on the 10th and bought. And then, looked at the candle on the 12th. And if it looked kind of bearish, looking at the 30-minute chart, I would have sold it. And then looking at, like today, when I placed my trade, let's see, now I'm going back to Bitcoin. So now on Bitcoin, I got to take the Renko out and put the candle. Oops. So it's pretty much a doji. It was actually higher. I got in at $9,008.50. Shorted one, paper trading. I'm up $120. It was actually higher because it was selling off. But the next candle pops up, and this shows undecided. The bulls and bears don't really know what to do. But if my forecast is right, it's already telling me you need to get out and you need to short it because it looks like it could be a possible trending lower. So we'll see here. And then if we go down, then we got to see the 25th, which is Sunday, Monday, and then Thursday. One of these days could be a buying opportunity. And it could either go buying on the 25th and the 26th is the next day. Probably could be selling it on the 29th. I don't know. Or one of these days it could be the swing low. Now, if it doesn't pan out that this is a sell and the Fed chairman says something crazy and bullish about Bitcoin, it could just blow me out. I haven't even put a stop loss on this. But I will, I guess, once I'm done today. Blow me out, and then this could push higher. So then what happens is that Bitcoin is inverted and maybe could put a swing high or pivot high either the 25th or the 26th or the 29th. So you always have to be on your toes when you do these things because, I'm not Gann. I'm not as good as he is, but I know that things like change on you, invert. Maybe Gann figured out why it was going to buy on the knife and sell on the 12th. Maybe there was other things he was calculating that I haven't figured out yet. But I do have cycle dates, and this is just testing this theory to see how it pans out. And what better way to test it on something that everybody's going nuts about? The consciousness is all involved in Bitcoin, and I guess there's decent amount of volume on Bitcoin. But I guess once it gets popular and more, accessible to everyone, in the U.S. and in other countries, then, we'll see how this system works. So those are the dates. All right, so let's go to the uranium sector. As you guys know, I follow that sector, and I placed a buy on URA, which is an ETF that covers the uranium sector. I believe that the uranium sector it's consolidating right now. Let's go to the futures, which I had before. And this is more now for the uranium heads and commodities. URA, I bought 100 shares at $12.49, paper trading. See how the strategy goes. It's up $18. Nothing crazy, especially in this industry. It's been in a bear cycle, trending low and lower, that I feel like it's found a bottom, or it's consolidating, and it's setting a platform, a base to maybe go higher. And that's just a maybe. I don't know if the timing is right, but I'm assuming the timing is right, because all of the Gann stuff that I study is indicating that if there's any time, this is the right time, because of all the clustering of cycles that are piling up in this time frame, especially in this year. And I bought UEC, is one of my uranium stock companies that I've been watching, and kind of like the guys that are in there, and Amir Adnani and some other guys. It's a U.S. company, so I don't have to fear that things could get crazy, and they're into production. So let's look at the uranium. What we do is we have to change this to the Renko, and as you can see, if I blow this, if I can blow it up, maybe not. Uranium prices have been coming down. This is the futures, and we made a low here, and you can see that we haven't been selling off. I mean, I could really go back if you really wanted to see that this thing has been selling. I'm talking about massive selling. Fukushima happened in 2011, in May 11, 2011, and that didn't help the uranium sector. And the all-time high on the uranium was in, I believe it was January. No, maybe it was July the 30th, around there. You can see that this has been in a bear camp. This is the futures. This is as far as data that I have, and it goes all the way to 2007. So we've been going down. We kind of made a little base here, and then it just shot up. So we made a base from like 2008 all the way to 2009, did a little head fake, shot up, but you know what? It just kept pushing lower. And right now, this is where we're at. And this is the future. And I am betting that we're probably going to retest that 2675 sometime within this year. There's a few things that are happening. We have a 10-year cycle that kicked in June, July. We got a 7-year cycle that just kicked in this month in March the 11th, which is the Fukushima anniversary. And then there was a 15-year cycle that kicked in from the all-time low, I believe, to this low right here. So this is where we're at right now. We need to see prices break out of this consolidation, get above at least the 100. So we need to at least get above the $23 uranium spot price. This is futures, and then shoot up higher and test this 26. If you look at URA, which is the ETF, that I've been covering. We got to go to the daily candle. I've been doing analysis on this because this is kind of between, the futures and this is kind of giving me the feel for what's going on with the uranium sector. And we put a low on the 30th, got a nice little pop. I played this out really good, but then got stopped out and made a high in the 14th and shot down, up, down. And my forecast, I was telling everyone, you can look at all the videos I've done in the past, it's not time to buy, it's not time to buy, it's not time to buy, it's not time to buy. The best time to buy will be on the 20th or the 21st. I was betting on the 20th and was looking at price action, and I like to see when you have a flush like that come down and they hit the price that I wanted, which was at $12.33. Next day, which is today, got in, paper traded, and let's see how this strategy works out. I bought 100, so let's see. My bet is that we're going to trend. I haven't done the analysis in the forecast how far this thing is going to go. I just want to see if we could at least break this trend line here. We could probably even do it from here or from here. But there's an angle of resistance. You could do a pitchfork. Let's see. Or maybe a channel. Let's see. Channels. Parallel channel, maybe. And broke it right there. Let's see here. So I want to see this get out of here. Once I see this get out of this channel, then I am going to be, then I got an initiative and reason to okay, we're probably going to start moving higher. And it's going to go back and forth, maybe buying opportunities to pile up. And then I'll forecast from this swing low to see how far this thing is going to go. But if you want to just eyeball it, chances are we might want to test this 1636 right here. But it's early in the game, but we got a nice, bull kicker, which I like. And the forecast was saying that, we're going to possibly make a swing low on the 20th. And on the 21st, got a nice pop. So let's see. And then UEC, which is the one I like. UEC. Stock that I like. Where are we? This is where we at. So I got in on this one. As a disclaimer, I bought some of this stock today. So I own a piece of this share. And I'm also paper trading it. So I got it on paper trade. And I just bought, 1,000 at 133. It's up $10. Nothing crazy. You don't want to get too crazy when you buy, You want to kind of just, don't go all in. Just build a little position and just buy a few here and see how price actions behave. So this is the one I'm watching, and there's a bunch. There's Cameco. There's other ones that you could watch, but this is the one I'm watching. And that's that for the uranium sector. Let's see what the market's doing here. Let's look at Bitcoin. I'm going to put what the Fed chairman is talking about.
More aware of their risks and better able to manage them with stress
It
testing.
looks like all the dollar's weak,
if
and
goes wrong, you've got,
let's see what the dollar's doing.
Better ability to deal with the failure of those institutions. So therefore you don't see high leverage. You don't see excess risk taking in great quantity the way you did see before the crisis. If you look at household balance sheets are in much better condition. If you look at non-financial corporations, you see
look at that.
Relatively
raising interest rate, but the dollar's tanking.
But nothing that
suggests that must be gold is getting a pop.
And of course, default rates are very low. So those readings look okay.
So the dollar's not looking good.
I should mention also that for large
Euro's
financial
popping,
institutions, they're no
CAD.
longer funded by a lot of short-term wholesale
Yeah,
funding, which
everything
can
is
disappear very
green.
quickly. So they're far less vulnerable to liquidity issues. Overall,
Look at
those
that.
aspects, I think, suggest low levels of vulnerability. You identified the really one area which is an area of focus, which is asset prices. So in some areas, asset prices are elevated relative to their longer-run historical norms. You can think of some equity prices. You can think of commercial real estate prices in certain markets. But we don't see it in housing, which is key. And so overall, if you put all of that
Euro.
into a pie, what you have is moderate vulnerabilities in our view. In terms of whether we have the tools, we have some tools, and I think we certainly will use them. We have, I think the stress test is a really important tool that we have for the largest financial institutions and for the smaller financial institutions. We regularly use
Put Euro here. See this.
that as a way to test against various
Look
market
at that.
shocks, certainly for the larger institutions.
I've been watching the Euro. I haven't traded it yet, but I've been watching, and I'm
Hi,
seeing
Tori
this.
Wheeler with Politico. More on the regulatory side.
I'm seeing this choppiness right here, and I thought it was going to sell off today with the raising of the interest rate. But look, it's squeezing a lot of shorts. That's this angle that you got to keep an eye on, right here. Right there. So I'm staying away out of that one. Let's see the dollar CAD. Let's change this color here. See all this? These are all the pairs stronger against the dollar. But you know what? It goes reverse. Look at that. Talking about a bear kicker right there. Look at that right there. That's the Aussie. Got a nice pop. Yen. Inside day. The pound. Got a nice pop. New Zealand dollar. Got a nice pop. New Zealand dollar reminds me of the euro. Same thing. Same kind of choppiness. Look at the Mexican. Massive sell-off. Wow. Look at that bear kicker. A nice bear kicker. If I was short, I'd probably be taking profit right about now. Can be riding this all the time. One thing I learned when you see stuff like this, don't think it's just going to continue going down. There's going to be an opportunity where the bulls, bottom feeders I call them, are going to pop it up. So you'd rather just lock in some profit, trail it, and if you get stopped out, that's it. You're out. You made some money. I don't know what this. I don't trade this or study this. Yep. Let's see over here. Let's look at the ES. Change this color here. Oops. 10-year Treasury. Look at that, a nice doji. Undecided. They try to push it up. Let's get closer. They try to push it up. They try to push it lower, and it's undecided. Something is cooking. ES, same thing. I'm watching this. Trapped a lot of bulls. So you're going to have kind of like an inside day from here, but an inside day within this candle, which is the 19th. And then you swing high pivot right here, the 13th. Crude got a massive pop. It's going to test that 6666. Interesting date or a number on 125th. Gold. Get gold. Nice massive pop. It's kissed at 25%, which at that 1331, and it's right above it. So whoever was shorting gold got their head handed to them. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll see maybe everything reverses and then it really continue going lower or pushing higher. And you got this trend line too from here. You go like this. Let's see. Channel. Swing pivot high to here. So we're in this channel. Got a nice pop from here. So let's see if it gets above that channel, if it breaks out. And I got a rule that if it breaks out of there, if you're really conservative and you don't want to take a lot of risk, let 3 days pass. 3 days pass out of the channel. So if it's 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th day, if it's pushing higher, then you buy it. And if you're super conservative, then you at least let a week pass. So you look at the weekly candle, or the weekly chart. And this is this week. So next week, if this out here, it needs to be out of this channel for the whole week. And if it's out of there and it's pushing higher, then that's a good reason that it may want to test this high, which is what, 1365. NQ is really nice high and shot down. 30-year YM, the VIX, Russell popped up here. Let's see. This is the one I want to watch. The ES. Day like this, I like to have the 30-minute. And it looks like the news came out right here. It's 2 p.m. And look, it just popped, came down, and right here, could have sold it for a nice scalp. And then we'd been out. And then you just watch it. Or maybe that's it. That was the trade. Wait till the next 30-minute pops up, and it's at the 180 degree square of 9, which is 2731. So for those of you, these are the square of 9 again. Uses. I have it here on the chart. This is 135. So you can see that ES chops around, but then eventually finds support, and it goes back, it goes up, it goes sideways, boom, boom, and then boom. You can have a good game strategy is to buy at the 135 degree and cover at the 180 using the 30-minute chart. And you want to look back. This is the 225 degree, which is a square of 9, what's the price is at 27.57. And it was chopping back and forth. That was Thursday and Friday. Boom, 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 boom. Could have sold it here. If you want to be really quick and scalpy. Maybe put a channel right here. Let's say this is the price action, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Could have sold it right there. Oh, waited for a retest, which could have been that one. And then sell it off. It would have been all the way down here. And you would have covered at the 135 degree of the square of 9 right there. Or bought it after you've seen it for like a couple of 30 minutes just back and forth, and bought it right at the 27.05 and then covered right here at the 27.31. Mind you, it would have taken you from Monday to Wednesday. The next game plan is, what price action is going to tell you. If it's going to be chopping around up here, then chances are it wants to go back to 27.57, which is the 225 degree square of 9. You could go back. You can see, look at that. So it dances closely to the square of 9 numbers. And that's just Gann stuff, which I'm sure a lot of you know already. Yep. Well, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to see how this thing posts. This is my first live stream. So in summary, for my Bitcoin traders, these are the forecast dates I have. And, you know, I should put a disclaimer just to be safe in this thing here. Where's my disclaimer? I always post it on my videos. Or start my video with the disclaimer on there. Guess I'm recording this. Let's put this right. Wrong one. Okay, here's my disclaimer. So if you want to read the disclaimer, you can pause the video and read the disclaimer. All right. So in essence, these are the dates you want to watch if you trade Bitcoin. If we sell off here, possible swing low could be the 25th, 26th, and the 29th of next week. So keep watch on that. And for the uranium guys, if I were you, I would watch price action on the URA, ETF, and the futures. And I personally believe there's a swing low in play. We got to just see how it's going to pan out. But time will tell. But I'm in it. As they say, you have to have skin in the game. And I own UEC. And I'm hoping all these will rise together and test at least 25.98. But once I get some action going higher, I'm going to do some analysis and check it out. One thing I'll leave you guys with is this screen right here. I'm going to stop this live feed and see how the video recorded. And then hopefully if everything sounded good and went good, I'll continue doing some live feeds here and there. Have a good one.